Stampy Longnose or Stampy is one of the most iconic Minecraft YouTubers ever. For a generation of Minecraft players, his channel defined the magic of Minecraft. At his peak, Stampy didn't just create videos, he built a community. While other creators like popular MMOs were known for their arena gameplay, or DanTDM was known for his modded content, Stampy carved out his niche with Stampy's Lovely World. Over 11 years ago, this series amazed between 1.5 and 2 billion views. An astonishing achievement. But what made Stampy's Lovely World so successful? Was it a mix of creativity and skill? Or did luck play a major role? Today we'll analyze Stampy's series with 4 major categories. His builds, his storytelling and roleplay, his ability to use unexpected humor, and his ability to push Minecraft to its limits. If Stampy excels in at least 2 of these categories, then him rising to fame because he was good and he had the skill and creativity to succeed was true. Otherwise, luck may have played a bigger role than many people have thought of. Let's dive into it. One of the defining aspects of Stampy's Lovely World was its expansive, ever-growing landscape. Stampy's builds, while not being massive or highly detailed like Hermitcraft creations, carried an unmistakable charm. Every structure had a purpose. It was designed to be functional, fun, and easy for his audience to replicate. Stampy's builds ranged from whimsical shops and restaurants to elaborate minigames. His Funland, which was his amusement park, was filled with all of his games and most of his creations. Whether it was Googly's Manor, where players had to avoid mobs, or a dunking booth, a simple yet engaging water-based minigame. Each build demonstrated Stampy's talent for making Minecraft accessible. One of his most memorable builds, for me at least, was his replica of a spaceship that could quote-unquote travel to the moon. The mechanics were simple, but Stampy used clever editing to create the illusion that he'd traveled to space. This blend of creativity and playfulness made his builds iconic. But Stampy's builds weren't without their flaws. Compared to modern Minecraft creators, his designs lacked aesthetic complexity. Yet, Stampy's audience wasn't looking for perfection. They wanted inspiration. The real brilliance of his builds was how they tied into his storytelling. Each structure wasn't just decorative. It had a narrative, a purpose in his lovely world. His quote-unquote lovely world was a stage where creativity and roleplay flourished. In this category, Stampy absolutely earned a point, not because of the technical complexity, but because of the impact his builds had on his community. For many fans, Stampy's Lovely World wasn't just a series, it was an unfolding story. One of his most memorable arcs revolved around Hit the Target, a recurring villain who added conflict and drama to the series. Watching these episodes felt like tuning into a Saturday morning cartoon, complete with action, suspense, and heartwarming resolutions. But at the same time, I was also watching shows like Doctor Who and Power Rangers at the time, both featuring recurring villains and episodic storytelling. This overlap made Stampy's series feel similar, but yet unique. However, how I may have loved Hit the Target schemes, the formula eventually grew repetitive. Many of the storylines boiled down to one thing: Stampy foiling his plans to steal his dogs. It didn't matter that it always focused around Hit the Target wanting to steal Stampy's dog. What matters is at one point the execution was exactly the same. Stampy would build a mode of transportation, either it being a hot air balloon, a submarine, or a ship. He would find Hit the Target with an evil version of that build, and then he would have to save either his friends or his dogs. Unlike Doctor Who or Power Rangers, which continually reinvented their villains and plotlines, Stampy's storytelling didn't evolve much over time. The lack of variety limited the series' narrative depth. With that being said though, Stampy's early storytelling had a charm that it's hard to ignore. For younger audiences, the simplicity worked, but it didn't age well for long-term fans. In the end, even though Stampy's storytelling was endearing, but not groundbreaking, it's not enough to score him a point here. Though his stories remain nostalgic, they just don't hold up. Comedy is a cornerstone for any successful Minecraft series, often emergent from unexpected moments, unpredictable moments, or through other player interactions. Stampy's Lovely World approached things much differently. Instead of bracing this, Stampy took a completely different route. Well, it was one of his biggest tools, but it was also one of his biggest weaknesses. All of his helpers were muted at all times. This was mainly because he didn't want to have to rely on others. He didn't want the series to flop over their bad acting. For his story, this was also a great weakness. Him deciding to keep his helpers muted, they can only hear his voice, and 99% of the time, where the only voice you heard 99% of the time was Stampy's. There was only one instance that I can think of in the entire series that you heard a voice coming from someone else besides Stampy, particularly his helpers. But even then, it was Stampy doing a really shitty impersonation of someone else. It was when Hit the Target had a conversation with him. Because of this muted situation, it's hard enough to get an unexpected humor or unexpected joke out of it. And Stampy really dug that grave for himself, considering the fact that he had meticulously planned everything. While this may have helped his story narrative in all the episodes to go a lot smoother when it comes to producing, it removed a massive component from his videos. I can't think of a funny instance from this series that wasn't planned. This is probably his worst performing category, and I can't give him a point in this one. Minecraft creators often push the game to its limits, experimenting with redstone, command blocks, and world editing tools. Stampy, however, didn't focus on technical innovation. His builds and gameplay relied on straightforward mechanics, making them accessible to a younger audience. That's not to say Stampy lacked creativity. His minigames often used basic mechanics in clever ways, or his space travel episode demonstrated how creative editing could enhance his storytelling. However, Stampy's content didn't push Minecraft's technical boundaries. Compared to creators like Mumbo Jumbo, who designed complex contraptions, Stampy's approach was more about imagination than technical prowess. While this worked for his audience, it doesn't qualify as breaking Minecraft. It's impossible for him to earn a point here. After analyzing Stampy's series through these categories, he only scores 1 point for his builds. At first glance, this might suggest that his success was largely due to luck, but that conclusion doesn't tell the full story. Stampy's genius lied in his ability to connect to his audience. Positive energy, genuine love for Minecraft, and dedication to creating family-friendly content made his channel a safe space for millions of viewers. While he might have not been the best builder or the funniest YouTuber, Stampy excelled at something far more important, making people feel welcomed. For many fans, like myself at the time, Stampy wasn't just a YouTuber. He was a friend. His videos weren't about chasing trends or showcasing technical mastery. They were about celebrating creativity, imagination, and fun. That's why Stampy's impact goes beyond metrics or categories. His success wasn't just luck. It was the result of a creator who truly cared about his community. His channel was based off of love. Even though his series might have not been the best, in the end, Stampy didn't need to be the best at Minecraft. He just needed to be Stampy, and for that, he'll always be remembered as one of the greats.